Hi. Okay, so I've no clue what I'm doing with these videos. Anyway, we'll make a good attempt at it. The reason I'm doing this is because so many people approach me with their pay slips, wanting to know why they're paying ridiculous tax and how come with what they're earning that they're paying half it in tax. And it's absolutely unbelievable the amount of people whose pay slips are wrong, who are overpaying tax, who don't know how to read their pay slips. So find out who's running your payroll, make sure they know what they're doing, make sure you know how to read your pay slip and that you're getting all of the tax credits you should have and that you know exactly what you're entitled to. The government are getting enough out of us and it's kind of enough now at this stage. So when it comes to your payroll and your wages, do not pay any more than you have to. Look at your pay slips, read your pay slips, and make sure that what's yours is yours and that it's not sitting in the government's vaults for God knows how long when it's rightfully your own money. So this one is cold hard facts. These are revenues statistics published quarter 1 2023, that's this year, but are based on 2022 figures. So according to revenue, there are 453 million euros sitting in their bank accounts belonging to the Irish taxpayer. 453 million euro for 2022 that is due back to taxpayers. So out of the 453 million, there were 1.9 million people who have not filed a return based on their 2022 earnings. 650,000 people overpaid tax out of that 1.9 million that haven't filed. That's 34%. So one in three people are owed money back. And according to revenue, it's an average refund due of €624 per person. That's based on all 650,000 getting the same amount back. The number of people affected, like I said, 650,000 people. So 650,000 people are owed money from the government. It's sat there. They know they owe it to you. It's really easy to get it. And it's just sat there waiting for you to file a little return and they will just send it back. And unfortunately, there are 15 million euro as well underpaid taxes. So you're running the risk like that maybe you owe them money, but 453 million owed back, 15 million owed to them. So the chances are it's you're owed the money back. Okay, so this is just a sample payslip. Doesn't belong to anybody. It's all made up, but it's just to show you what it should look like and what information should be on it. Now, depending on what payroll system you use, they all look different, but they should have the same information. So they should have the company name somewhere up here. Your employer's registered number should be listed. Your name, department, maybe not, depending your PPS number and the pay date. So this one, it relates to period 2. That should also be on there. So period 2 is basically the second payroll of the year. So this is week 2, 13th January 23. It should also show your tax basis. In this case, it says cumulative. That can say week 1 or normal. There's a few different ways it can be worded, but it should tell you what your tax basis is. And it should also tell you what your PRSI class is. So most people are A1. Sometimes it varies for different reasons, but this is based on just normal single person with no other complications. You'd be PRSI class A1. So it'll also show you then your tax credits. So this payslip is actually showing 2 weeks of tax credits. So your weekly tax credits multiplied by 2, and I'll show you next how to do that, and your cutoff. So again, this is cumulative, so it's showing tax credits for 2 weeks and your cutoff for 2 weeks. All right, so we're just going to look now at what the tax credits, what you should have. So again, based on single person with your standard credits and standard rate cutoff point. These will change depending on circumstances. So, you know, things like sick benefit, maternity, married people, they vary. So this is just standard, and then you can check the revenue website if your circumstances are different. But single person tax credit is 1,775. So that's basically an allowance of 1,775 euros a year. And then you have your employee tax credit, which is another 1,775 credits, or an allowance of 1,775 euro a year. So your standard single person annual credits are 3,550 euro is what they're worth on an annual basis. So that split out, it's 3,550 divided by 52 for your weekly credits. So that's 68.27 per week. These should be shown on your payslip. You should see 68.27 if you're paid weekly, or 295.83 if you're paid monthly. And that's basically just taking this 3,550 and dividing it by 52 weeks or 12 months. So if you're paid every 2 weeks, you're dividing this by 26. So your payslip might show these as a cumulative total for the year. So if you're in pay period 6, then you multiply this number by 6 if you're paid weekly, and that's the figure that should show under your tax credits. And then your standard rate cutoff point is 40,000 euro. So this here is the income threshold at which point you start paying tax at 40%. So under this, you pay tax at 20%, and over this amount, you pay tax at 40%. And this again should show on your payslip. And again, for your standard rate cutoff point, depending on what way it's displayed, you're dividing this number by 52 for weekly, 12 for monthly, 26 for bi-weekly. Okay, so just to show you now how to apply the tax credits and everything to your actual payslip, and know just very, very basically if your tax is correct. So basically, you are going to look at your gross pay down here, 69750 in this case. So to figure out this, on the understanding you're earning under 40,000, which you are if this is your earnings. So you take this gross amount, 69750, you multiply it by 20%, which will give you 13950. And then you take away your weekly tax credits, because this is a weekly payslip, of 68.27. And when you take 68.27 away from 13950, you end up with 71.23 PAYE. It's that easy. Multiply by 20%, subtract your credits. This is what you owe. If you have 0 tax credits, you'll end up paying 13950. If you have only half of your tax credits, you'll end up paying half of the 13950. So it's just a very, very basic calculation. So that's your payslip, gross pay, PAYE, and over here it's got your tax credits and it's got your cutoff. So if any of these figures are wrong or missing, then this figure is not going to be right. And if that figure is not right, the chances are revenue've got your money and you need to go and get it. So this is literally just your starting point. It's one of my passions. I really think that this is something that should be taught in schools. The amount of kids that come in here to me, their first jobs, and they're all on emergency tax, and it's scandalous. And another pet peeve is that there are people running payrolls that have no clue what they're doing, and you have to be able to know the information for yourself to know that your payslip is wrong. It's very easily fixed regardless of who's running the payroll, but it's just to know how to do it. And your first battle is knowing how to read it. Piece of paper, read it every week, make sure that the tax that you're paying is correct. Because 453 million euro is a shitload of money. And believe it or not, that is only for 2022. You can claim that back for 4 years. So if you're owed an average of 624 euro and you haven't looked at your tax for 4 years, there's potentially a nice little holiday for you out of it. And out of all of the people watching this, which maybe might be a few, but 650,000 people are owed 453 million euro between them. And that is definitely something that is worth looking into, and make sure that everybody else knows how to do it as well. That said, here are a few links to some pages that I've set up. I want to try and share some more information, but just the payslip is just really the starting point. So if you can master the payslip and you can read that, you're halfway through the battle. And I've set up some pages. I've got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I've got this Pensite account, and I'm going to use this Pensite account to share some other instructions on how to things like register for revenue, file your income tax return, basically get your money back. So if you have found this helpful, I would really appreciate you sharing it with anyone you know, and make sure that everybody knows their rights, knows their entitlements, and knows how to read their payslip, because it's very basic knowledge, and that knowledge is going to save you a fortune. Thanks for listening.